My seatbelt is properly mounted and secured. It's not ripped or frayed. It adjusts and latches properly. My 3 items of emergency equipment consist of my fire extinguisher located behind the driver's seat. It's properly mounted and secured and fully charged. My 3 red reflective triangles are located under the bunk. Spare electrical fuses are located in my glove box. I will now perform a safe start. First, I will make sure my parking brakes are engaged. My vehicle is in neutral. Press down on my service brake and turn the key to the on position, checking to make sure the ABS light goes on and off. And it did. Now we'll start the engine. First, I will check my gauges. My water temperature gauge is rising to normal operating range. My oil pressure gauge is rising to normal operating range. My voltmeter indicates that my alternator is charging between 13 to 14 volts, currently at 14.1. My 2 air gauges are building to governor cut between 120 and 125 psi. My windshield and mirrors properly mounted and secured, not cracked, but are broken. They are clean and clear. There are no obstructions. My mirrors are in proper adjustment. My windshield wipers and washers properly mounted and secured, not cracked and broken. They operate smoothly. The wiper blades are not worn, torn, or dry rotten. My heater and defroster is working, and my heater is also working. My city horn, beep, my air horn, are both working effectively. My lighting indicators, left turn signal, right turn signal, bright lights, and 4-way flasher indicator lights are all functioning normally. Okay, I will now perform my parking brake test. In order to do that, I will first check my trailer parking brake. I'll do that by releasing my parking brake for my tractor, putting it in drive, giving it a slight tug. I felt the tug, it works. Now I will check my tractor parking brake to make sure it works. I will do that by releasing my trailer parking brake, putting my vehicle in drive, and tugging against my tractor parking brake. Felt the tug, it works. Now I will perform a service brake check. I will do that by moving forward to 5 miles an hour, applying my service brake to come to a stop, watching to see if I pull to the left or to the right. I'll now do that. Oh, I did not move to the left or to the right. That was successful. I will now perform my air brake test. First, I will prepare for it. I will do that by making sure both of my protection valve parking brakes are engaged, my vehicle's in neutral, my engine is running. I'll step outside and place my chalk down. Okay, my chalk is set down. As soon as I get back into the vehicle, I'm going to depress both of my protection valves. Seatbelt back on. I'm allowing my gauges to build to governor cut. Okay, my gauges have built to governor cut. I will now turn my engine off. Now I'll turn my key back to the on position. I'm going to allow my gauges to sweep and stabilize. Okay, my gauges have stabilized. I will now perform stage 1 of my air brake check, the applied pressure check. I'm first going to depress my brake, allow my gauges to restabilize. Okay, my gauges have restabilized. Now I will hold my foot firmly down on my service brake for 1 minute. in that 1 minute, I will be watching my gauges to make sure I do not lose more than 4 psi, and I will be listening for air leaks as well. Mr. Examiner, will you time me? Okay, it's been 1 minute. In 1 minute, I did not lose more than 4 psi, and I heard no air leaks. I will now begin stage 2 of my air brake check. I will pump down on my service brake until my low air warning light and buzzer come on. This should happen at or before 60 psi. I will now begin pumping down. Okay, my low air warning light and buzzer came on at or before 60 psi. I will now begin stage 3 of my service brake, air brake test. I will do that by pumping down on my service brake until both of my protection valves pop out, which should occur between 40 and 20 psi. I will now begin pumping down. Pop, pop. Oh look, both of my parking brake protection valves popped out, and they popped out between 40 and 20 psi. This concludes my in-cab inspection. How'd I do?
Excellent.
Well done.
You got the job.
Yay!